Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the South Fork. As Unitarian Universalists, we come together each week to honor what is of worth. In this hour, we pause the everyday rush and flow of our lives in reverence and in thanksgiving, to connect with the sacred, to remember our commitment to each other and to our world. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your name for the sacred, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome to bring your full self here. I am the Reverend Kimberly Quinn Johnson. Our musicians this morning are Jesse and Peter. Jessica, oh, you can do that 3 or 4 or 5 more times. Jessica Totoris, I checked the pronunciation of the first name, but not the second, is a native of Southampton, widely regarded as a versatile violinist, both as orchestral player and chamber musician. She studied at the Juilliard School Pre-College Division, the Royal College of Music in London for undergraduate performance studies, and the Aaron Copland School of Music at Queen's College, where she obtained her master's degree in performance. Jessica is the artistic director of the Southampton Strings Festival, which offers dedicated string teaching to young students each August out here in the Hamptons. Peter Jansen began violin classes at the age of 7 with Cohn-Renz at the Academy of Music at Turnhout. He continued his studies at the Royal Conservatory at Antwerp with Guido de Neve. He was conferred a master's degree, summa cum laude. In January 2006, he was awarded the Orange Bouz Scholarship in 2017. In 2017, Peter was appointed the Concert Master of Boho Strings, an innovative Antwerp-based string orchestra. You can read more full bios for each of them in your order of service. They will be accompanied in parts by Steven Skoldberg, who we are very familiar with and so grateful for. Our tech hosts this morning are Carl Wittenberg and Monica Sasada. If you are joining us online, you have access to closed captioning. If you're joining us here in the meeting house, we have hearing-assisted devices, if that is helpful for you. This is a good time to turn off any other devices that you have with you. You can find announcements in your order of service. I would bring your attention to 2 things. Later today, after this service, our annual congregational picnic, we have so much food, so you must stay. And tomorrow, I will be participating in an interfaith discussion about lament with clergy from, you know what? I'm not even going to try to get all of the names right because I won't, but you can find that information in your order of service or your bulletin or our website. But it is 7 p.m. at the Queen of the Most Holy Rosary for that interfaith discussion of lament. Do we have any visitors who would like to introduce yourselves this morning? Yes. Welcome, Tanya. Welcome, I'm not going to, you said it so quickly. Beat. Welcome, Tanya and Beat. I'm having very hard time hearing you. And I want to say Buzzy. Welcome, Buzzy. And Welcome, Sienna. Welcome all. If you're joining us in the meeting house, please do sign our guest book. It is a way that we are able to tell you more about who we are and what we do. If you're joining us online, there is a link, there will be a link in your chat to sign our virtual guest book so that we can tell you a little bit more about who we are and what we do and learn more about you. I am going to now invite you all to greet each other, and someone who you haven't yet greeted this morning, you will notice that I this morning am wearing a mask. It is a reminder for me and for all of us that this is a very, very high COVID summer. I was positive testing, well, I am sure that I did have COVID earlier in the week. I am sure that I am testing negative now. And this is a good time this summer for us all to be careful and to take care for each other into consideration. So with that, I invite you to greet someone who you haven't yet greeted this morning.
Hi, my friends.
How are you, ladies? Nice to
There
see you.
you are. Hi, Pamela. How's
Hi.
it going?
Hi, Diana. How are you? Good to see you both. Full house today, isn't it?
It's a beautiful day. Yeah, the heat seems to have, and it's
I
going to
know.
be rain
I know.
tomorrow.
Isn't that nice? And it's nice to see so many people in the congregation. It's hard for me to go out there
Yeah, it's a big crowd.
because I
It is
live
a
in
big crowd.
Riverhead and I've got so much other work to do with my nonprofit. But to drive out and
There's Tuna.
yeah, there he is.
You see him much at Taconic Landing, Diana? You see Tuna much?
Our opening words as we light our chalice this morning, I would invite someone to self-select, to light our chalice this morning with these words from Mark Tape. As surely as we belong to the universe. Oh, we can say this in unison. These are in your order of service. I do invite you, it's printed in your order of service exactly for us to be able to say it together. As surely as we belong to the universe. The first song that we'll sing together this morning is Around. It's in your gray hymnal, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. But I'll bet you don't actually need to hold on to that hymnal to be able to sing this round. I'll tell you what the words are, and then we'll be led by our musicians. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come.
Since we have three parts to the round and we have three musicians, we each get our instrumental lead. So what we're going to do is I will play the melody just by myself to start, then we'll sing all together once through in unison, and then we'll start the part. So I will lead the piano in group one here, then group two will be Jesse, and then Peter will lead group three. again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
Our first message this morning is interactive. It is a bit of a body message for all of us to participate in. We are together going to make a machine. So I'm going to switch to my other microphone because I am also going to be moving around as we make our machine. So, some of you may have done this before. You have done this before. Excellent. Thank you so much. We are going to, one by one, each add ourselves to. We are going to use a repetitive motion. I should move here. A repetitive motion and sound. And one by one, we'll each add ourselves to the lump of repetitive motions and sounds that are forming to create a machine. So here's the repetitive motion. Ooh, ooh. So for example, and so we're going to start. We're going to do it in person. Those of us who are joining on Zoom, we hope that you will also participate. So we're going to want to actually, I should have said this, gallery view. We want to gallery view the folks who are on Zoom, and we can see you. We think that you can see us if we're right here in the middle of the floor. And we're going to see if we can also include you in our machine. So, and we're just going to let it do what it does. I'm going to put my mask back on. It looks like you were going to start us off. You can. I would love for you to. And so it works for other people to stand up and to join. So our machine is in relationship to each other. Let's see how we're doing with Zoom here. Right. I see Zoom. It doesn't look like we have anybody on Zoom yet who's joining. We have Pam. Figure out where I can join. I don't know where to join. Okay. It looks like anybody who is joining our machine is joining. We're just going to slow it down and slow it down and turn all the power off. Very slow. Thank you. So my question for you each to think about, and maybe one or two people to reflect out loud, is how did that feel for you? I heard amazing. Amazing. Glorious, joyful. How did that feel for you? Energizing. Silly. Humorous. I have other. Exhausting. Exhausting in your case. So in thinking about how did it feel for you on Zoom? Let me ask that question first. How did that feel for you on Zoom?
Hi, it was fun to watch. I participated a little bit.
Okay, fun to watch and participated a little bit. Okay. Anybody else?
My chair.
So we're talking about today fitting in and belonging. I like this game, and it occurred to me last week I'm very loud, in having some conversations thinking about fitting in and belonging. I did this exercise, and what I thought about in doing this exercise is, where would I join in? So you start out, most of us start out on the outside looking. And for me, when I think about how to participate in this exercise, I think about two things. I think about where there is a space for me to join in. And then I also think about how can I do something that leaves space for someone else to join in. And so as we think more about fitting in and belonging, these are two questions for you. How do you put yourself in? How and where do we leave space, make space for other people to be able to also put themselves in? May your roots grow deep. May your branches spread far. May you find this world to be a wonderful place, full of loud and clunky and silly and energetic and maybe even exhausting machines. And leave it better for those who follow. Here, in this meeting house, we receive 2 collections each week. And we're also trying something a little different here. So we receive the pink basket that will circulate. It's for our regular collection. The blue basket that will follow is for our Helping Hand Fund. Our Helping Hand Fund goes to local organizations doing good work in our community. A third of that goes to our Minister's Discretionary Fund, which helps individuals in immediate need. And so as we listen to more beautiful music, however you give in these baskets, using the QR code on your order of service or the link in your chat, your gifts are gratefully received. Pam? I'm just going to let it go further. In this moment in our service, we pause, to feel ourselves at home in our bodies. And so I invite you to take a deep breath. Or 3 or 2. As we ground ourselves in this moment. Here we share our deep joys, our sorrows, our concerns for the world. Together in community, we hold all of our sorrows at the grief of loss, the complexity of aging. We also hold our joy at what is wonderful in this world, in this country, and beyond, at what is created when we join together in belonging and learning and trust and love. May you carry the warmth and light of this community with you into the week. Let's sing together a second time from your gray hymnal, My Life Flows On in Endless Song. It is number 108. Beautiful morning for music. So I will tell you that I have been thinking about this service of fitting in and belonging for a while. We talk about belonging here quite a bit, actually. in explicit ways. We talk about fitting in here in less explicit, but clearly felt ways. If you are like me, I imagine that many people are like me, then you want to fit in. You make some effort when you go to new places to fit in. If you are like me, you want to belong. And here's the thing, fitting in and belonging are not the same thing, however much we may imagine them as interchangeable. I get this analogy from the life coach Jay Shetty, right? He says, imagine that you have to want to get to mail a gift. And in order to mail this big gift, you need to fit it into the box. You need to get it into the box and tape it up and send it off. But first, you need to fit it into the box. Compare that, he says, to an a cappella group, a string quartet, where you have bass, you have soprano and alto, you maybe have somebody doing a beatbox. Everybody has a role. Those roles are different. Without one of them, the sound is different, and not just different, but less. When we are fitting in, we are squeezing ourselves into a box, adapting ourselves so that we are accepted, tolerable, non-offensive, appealing. When we belong, we just are, inexcusably, ourselves. No adapting, no squeezing, no tamping down those parts of ourselves that maybe don't fit with this group. Fitting in and belonging, not the same thing, and actually, in some regards, quite the opposite. Maslow, who has that hierarchy of needs, has not fitting in, has belonging in the middle of that hierarchy. It is above our physiological needs, right? On a base physiological level, we need to breathe, we need food and water and shelter, clothing. Above that, we have needs for safety and security. We need a safe place to live. We need good health, so health care. We need work. For many of us, safety and security means that we have some property. In this hierarchy, the idea is, though it's not exactly, that we need each one to build on the other. That we need our physiological needs met in order to then have our needs for safety and security met, and smack dab in the middle, before we get to those higher needs of self-actualization, is the need for belonging, friendship, family, intimacy, a sense of connection. This felt most stark to me. I did not know you were going to be here. This felt most stark to me a couple of weeks ago at Star Island. I wonder if anybody except my gallery over on the left has been to Star Island or Ferry Beach or any of these Unitarian Universalist campsites, or have been to camp at all in your life. Okay, okay, some of us have been to camp. So the thing about Star Island or Ferry Beach or any of these camps, they're generally a week, and you go to a place that's different from where you live, and you meet up with people who you see there every year. It's like a big old family reunion. It is lovely. And the thing that makes it lovely, the thing that makes it so desirable for so many people, is also the thing that is a source of intense anxiety for other people. Because imagine what it's like to go to a family reunion that is not your family. Yet. Maybe you have been the first time at an in-law family gathering where this could be your family, you think it's going to be your family, but it's not yet. Where there are traditions and customs and ways of being and doing that are not familiar to you, but that are so familiar and so beloved by everyone else who is there. The thing about friends is that if you're not one of the friends, it kind of feels like a clique. The thing about traditions and customs is that if they're not your traditions, they are mysterious. Mysterious customs, arcane practices. The circle that in some ways keeps everybody level is also a closed thing. It's really hard to get into a circle that is already closed. The very thing that makes people feel at home once they are in the circle is the thing that makes it feel so scary, so other, when you are outside of the circle. It is the very thing that makes us want to fit in. It was striking to me at Star Island because though I have been there, this was, I think, my 5th time, I still often feel as if I am deciphering these customs that are so beloved to people. But Star Island, or Ferry Beach, or camp, or the first time you are at your in-laws for Thanksgiving, is a lot like our congregations, including this one. How often do we hear people talk about us as like-minded people? That what we want, what we find, what we are so grateful for here is that we have found a place of like-minded people where everyone fits. It is lovely to be in a place where everyone fits, but I wonder, who is not here? I wonder who has left because they actually didn't fit in or couldn't fit in or wouldn't fit in. When you think about your time here, can you remember when it felt like you fit in? Can you remember what it was that made you feel as if you belong? When I think about belonging, I think of this quote from Starhawk. She is a neo-pagan, eco-feminist. She writes, "We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned, we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats somewhere. A circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter, a circle of healing, a circle of friends, someplace where we can be free. I first heard that quote at my own congregation in Montclair, New Jersey. It is still, all these years later, the thing that I think about when I want to describe what it feels like for me to belong to a place, to a people. It is what I felt at that congregation in Montclair. What it felt like to belong was that my contributions were valued and they mattered. The very first time I went to one of our Seders, I had never been to a Seder before at all, and I have told some of you this before, I brought lasagna, which is not kosher. And I got an explanation that lasagna was not kosher. I got a little bit of a bless your heart, but in a not a sarcastic way, right? In a real, genuine, bless your heart for this effort. And though it came out at the very end, as if we weren't going to take it out if we didn't need it, that lasagna made its way to the table. The first time that I did a flower communion, I just understood them to say, bring a flower. And so I walked to church at that time, and I walked to church, and I picked a little flower, which was probably a little weed, on my way. I did not know that bring a flower meant that there would be these vases of tall, beautiful, long-stemmed flowers that we would share and circulate. And I saw all of these beautiful tall flowers and my little scraggly weed that I had picked walking on the way. And I was tempted to just put my flower in my pocket. My poor little scraggly flower was received as if it were as beautiful as those long-stemmed roses, carnations, whatever they were. I don't even know what flowers are which. My contributions, however meager, were received and valued as if they mattered. I was respected and taken seriously. My questions were respected and taken seriously. That doesn't mean that I got to do everything that I wanted to do. It does mean, though, that when the answer was no, or we can't, or we won't, I was understood why. It was explained to me why. I understood why. I didn't get to do. Respect for us did not mean that I got to do everything that I wanted to do. It didn't mean that people were afraid to tell me no, lest I leave. It meant that I was respected and trusted enough to be able to receive a no, respected enough to receive an explanation for the no. Belonging for me in that congregation meant that my presence mattered. It meant that people noticed when I was there and noticed when I wasn't, and not because they needed me to fill a seat for a young person. I was much younger then. Not because they needed me to fill a seat for a person of color. Not because they needed me to be on a committee or to do a thing. It meant that my presence mattered just in and of itself. Not because of a box that I checked or a seat that I filled or a thing that I did. My absence wasn't taken as an affront or a lack of commitment. But people noticed and wondered how I was and asked me and made space for me to tell them. That felt like belonging to me. Belonging for me in that congregation meant that I felt empowered to represent who we were, what it meant to be a Unitarian Universalist, what it meant to be a member of that congregation. It was the place where eyes lit up, where arms opened to receive me, where people celebrated when I moved into my own power. We talk very much about beloved community, and I believe that we mean it. We talk often about what it means to be inclusive, and I believe that we intend to be inclusive. It shows up in the 8th principle. It shows up, I bet that the phrase inclusive beloved community shows up in our articulation of new values. But how do we go from meaning it and intending it to actually creating a space where people belong, where people aren't asked to fit in, but where people are invited to belong, where their contributions are valued, where they are respected and taken seriously, where their presence matters, not for what they do, where they are empowered then to represent what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist, what it means to be a member of this congregation of Unitarian Universalists. When we played the machine game, what was your instinct? How did it feel for you to enter into that system? How did it feel for you to be a part of it? How did you think about adding others to it? The work of belonging is often not easy. It requires that we pay really good attention. It actually requires that we work quite hard. It requires sometimes that we think as much of or even more of the other person than we think of ourselves. And here is a point where somebody might be muttering to themselves, why do we have to go out of our way? Why do we always have to be looking to include new people? Do we have to do that? Of course not. This could be a place. This could be a place where we make ourselves comfortable, where we fit and are at home. And that would not be a bad place. It really, really wouldn't. We could continue to attract people who are like us, who fit in, some more easily than others. But that, dear friends, is not what I think we signed up for. What I think we signed up for as a faith community, and not just any faith community, right? But as a faith community of Unitarian Universalists, where covenant and belonging is more important than creed or doctrine. We actually did sign up to be a place where we work hard, not just at our fitting in, but at each other's belonging, and at creating a space of belonging, not just for us who are here, but for those who are not. And here's the other side of that equation. Because belonging doesn't mean fitting in, squeezing ourselves into a box. But it does also require something of us if we are to belong. It requires that we not fit ourselves into a box, that instead we open ourselves up to let our own gifts spring out of that box, to let our own gifts spring forth, to let our own weirdness, our crankiness, our singing, our wacky dancing, our silly machines all spring forth. It requires vulnerability. It requires that we not mask ourselves, that we not hide ourselves, that we not work so hard to fit in, that instead we work hard to be 100,000% ourselves, who and where we are. That requires a little bit of self-acceptance, right? That we start to be okay 100,000% with who we are. That each of us, know ourselves to be enough and worthy. That each of us, knows that everybody is lucky to bask in our presence. I hope that you know that. I am lucky to bask in your presence. Everybody here is lucky to bask in your presence. And it requires patience, because it may take a while for people to realize that. But we'll trust that they're trying. Vulnerability and self-acceptance and patience. We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a place half remembered, half envisioned. We can only catch glimpses of it from time to time. Community. Some place where there are people whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community, belonging, means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing, a circle of friends, someplace where we can be free. May you find this to be that place. May you make it so for others. We get to sing together one more time in your teal hymnal, number 1064, Blue Boat Home, Prepare to be Transported.
Below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling oceans. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, cast my questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companion, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way to and our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the